All right, today we're going to dive into a thought experiment that really gets to the heart of what it means to be human. It's a concept called the anodyne, and it all kicks off with one deceptively simple question. And I mean, really think about that for a second. Not just curing a specific disease, but wiping out the very experience of pain itself. What would a world like that actually look like? What would we gain? And maybe more importantly, what would we lose? So the idea of the anodyne starts with what seems like humanity's greatest ever achievement. Just imagine a future where we finally won the long, brutal war against suffering. Not just managed it, but completely and totally eradicated it. So what is the anodyne exactly? Well, it's a state society reaches where our technology is so advanced that we can neurologically just switch off all negative feelings. We're talking about something that works on a chemical level in the brain, preventing it from ever processing things like grief or an injury as suffering. The sales pitch is pretty incredible, right? This technology is sold as the ultimate product, a life completely, totally free from grief, anxiety, trauma, and physical pain. It's pitched as a perfect, flawless utopia. And this becomes the new social contract in this world. Life is a smooth, frictionless ride. Things like heartbreak, fear, trauma, they're all neurologically impossible. Society isn't built to help you heal wounds anymore. It's designed to prevent the very idea of a wound from ever even forming. But, there's always a catch. Erasing all pain might sound like a cure for all our problems, but what if it's actually a cure for humanity itself? This is where the perfect world starts to unravel. This quote is really the turning point. The idea that our wounds, our scars, our struggles, maybe they aren't just flaws that need to be fixed. Maybe they're actually part of what makes us whole. And by removing them, we've accidentally removed a core piece of ourselves. And this gets us to the central paradox of the anodyne. I mean, if you've never known sadness, how can you possibly recognize happiness? If you've never felt loss, how can you really appreciate what you have? This question right here is the key to understanding the absolutely devastating cost of this so-called perfect world. So, what does a normal day actually look like in this painless society? Well, it's not a world full of vibrant, ecstatic people. The reality is something much, much quieter, and honestly, a lot more unsettling. The main side effect isn't overwhelming joy, it's apathy. A deep, chilling lack of caring about anything. See, when nothing can hurt you, nothing really matters. Life just becomes this placid, flat journey where your actions have no emotional weight, no real consequences. And this chart just illustrates the trade-off perfectly. We gained absolute safety, sure, but we lost our resilience, that ability to get knocked down and get back up. We gained a constant, steady calm, but we lost empathy, the very thing that lets us feel for another person. We gained perfect insulation from the harshness of the world, but we lost any reason to grow. Just think about it for a second. What is courage? It's acting despite being afraid. If fear is neurologically impossible, then the entire concept of bravery just vanishes. And it's the exact same thing for personal growth. We learn, we adapt, we get stronger by overcoming challenges. A frictionless life is a life without the engine of development. It's just stagnation. And maybe this is the most important one. Empathy, our ability to connect with each other. It's born from a shared understanding of what it feels like to be vulnerable, to hurt. If you can't feel pain, you can't understand it in others, and the bonds that hold us all together just dissolve. So humanity under the anodyne gets completely redefined. It's no longer the story of resilience, of overcoming impossible odds. It becomes a story of insulation. We've just wrapped ourselves in a perfect bubble that keeps all the bad stuff out, but it also keeps out all the good. Safer, calmer, and infinitely emptier. And all of this brings us to the final, philosophical point of this whole thought experiment. It really forces us to look at our own messy, imperfect lives and ask, what actually gives them meaning? The anodyne achieves that utopian dream of ending all suffering, but in the process, it creates a spiritual wasteland. It's a world that is, on paper, perfect, but it's utterly without a soul, without any purpose. And this is a question for every single one of us. The deepest love we feel is so profound precisely because we know it can be lost.
Would you trade the highest highs of love just to be completely protected from the lowest lows of heartbreak? The Anodyne says yes. But what do you say?
Which leaves us with the ultimate question, really. If the very essence of being alive is experiencing the full spectrum, the joy and the pain, the triumph and the struggle, then what are the people living in the Anodyne? Are they truly living, or are they just existing in a perfect, painless, and maybe a completely meaningless state? Definitely something to think about.